Allah, don't let me stray. Please guide my way onto the path of my deen. Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah, I'm calling your name.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to an all-new episode of Let's Talk on your favorite channel, Huda TV. I'm your host, Arkham Rashid. Even though our outwards appearance isn't nearly as important as what's on the inside and what's in our hearts, it still matters. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded us to be humble and to have humility in our way of dressing. And our Prophet ﷺ has left us the best example on how to dress nice and clean. So on tonight's episode, we will discuss the etiquettes of dressing in Islam. So I'm going to start off as usual by letting my guests introduce themselves. If I can start with my right brother, if we can get your name, where you're from, and a little bit about yourself. Go ahead.
In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, peace and blessing be upon the Prophet ﷺ. This is Ala Arif. I'm from Egypt. I'm a graduate of Al-Azhar University, Faculty of Languages and Translation. I've been working teaching for about 5 years. Now I'm working at NES school. Also, I'm working at SAIL for training courses. That's all.
All right, and this is obviously your first time on Let's Talk, correct?
Yeah. This is my first time in Let's Talk, but I usually on Huda tonight.
Yeah. All right, I'm looking forward to having a great conversation with you tonight.
Inshallah.
All right, brother, if I can get your name, where you're from, and a little bit about yourself. Go ahead.
So in the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. First of all, my name is Bello Ibrahim Azari. I am from Nigeria, and I was studying here for about 3 years, there in Al-Azhar University, Faculty of Languages and Translation, from the Department of Simultaneous Interpretation. So I am now there for about 4 years there. And I was here for the tonight episode here at Huda TV. But this is my first time here in this kind of episode. So
okay. And so you've been in Egypt for how long?
For about 4 years.
4 years, okay. Yeah. And how do you like Cairo compared to Nigeria?
Yeah, you know, whoever you ask about...
Remember, a lot of Nigerians are watching the show right now, so...
Yeah. You know that whoever leave his country, been to another country studying, so he can never forget his country, and he can love any country over his country. So I love my country more than followed by Egypt.
All right, very good answer there. All right, so I want to welcome you to the show once again, brother.
Okay,
all right, welcome to the show. Brother, if I can get your name, where you're from, and a little bit about yourself, go ahead.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. My name is Sharif Hamdi Mahmoud. I work as a teacher of English language. I work for an Azhari institute, and this is my second time on Let's Talk.
All right, so I want to welcome you to the show here today.
Thank you.
And I look forward to having a great conversation with you tonight.
Yes, inshallah.
Brother, if we can get your name, where you're from, and a little bit about yourself.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm Ahmed, I'm 25. I teach English, and I'm in my higher studies now. I study English literature.
Okay, and obviously this is not your first time. I had you previously on this show.
Yeah, yes, I've been here.
Yeah, and it's great to have you here once again.
Yeah, it's my honor and pleasure.
Okay, so I want to start off by asking you brothers here, what is the importance of modesty in Islam? Go ahead, brother.
Actually, modesty is one of the most crucial things that we should care about. And nowadays people are not paying attention to it. Our religion is based on modesty and being modest and being humble in everything, not only in our clothing or our dress. But because this is our topic today, clothing and dress, and how to be modest and humble in your dress and clothing, you know that this famous expression that they say, first impression lasts forever. So when I see a person wearing something that is not appropriate, so I think that this person is not like a good person, is not like a polite person or whatever. He's not like a good Muslim, if we're talking about a Muslim.
Yeah.
So the appearance is important. Also, the appearance is not the whole thing, although the appearance is not the whole thing, but also what is inside. But now we're talking about how to look as a Muslim. And the Prophet ﷺ urges us to look after our appearance and our look, because you are an example, you are a model of Muslim. You are representing Islam. Whatever you do, your actions, your words, whatever you say, whatever you do, is, represents you and represents Islam in the first place. So you should be a good representative of your religion in everything, in your looks, in your clothing, in your words, in your actions also. Because when I see someone doing something, like maybe saying some words or doing some actions that are not appropriate for a good Muslim, so I would think that he's not a Muslim. So this is our responsibility as Muslims. We have to look well. We have to look modest. And bear in mind that if you wear the Islamic clothes or the Islamic uniform of the Prophet ﷺ, you look humble. And imagine that if you're wearing, the jalabiya or the uniform, when you go to pray Friday prayers, for example, how do you feel? You feel really great, because it bestows in you like a sense of modesty and humility. You feel like, this is me. You go back to your identity. But when you wear like these new clothes, you feel like you are not following your own origin, which is wearing the Islamic clothes. So,
yeah, I
sure,
can add something for that, for my brother. Some people may say that this is not important. I mean, the appearance. The main thing here, they claim that the main thing is
what's on the inside?
Being humble in your heart. And this is not true, because some orders or the whole orders that came in the Quran and Sunnah should be followed. It must be followed, because you cannot follow a part of it and leave the other one. So the Prophet, peace be upon him, said about the face. He said about it, it is ما وقر في القلب وصدقه العمل. So faith is what? Is what you believe in, and supporting it is to act. Is to act. So if you believe in something but you do not act in accordance with that thing that you believe in, so this is your actions or your faith is going
against
in vain.
What you
yes, is going in vain. And something else I can add to my brother's words. I can say that the modesty is. I see that modesty is something that is private for everyone. I cannot, for example, if women, or for example, or some people that are a little naked or something are walking in the street, I cannot gaze upon them, because this is their property. And if the society apply all these rules, the society will be upright and moral.
Okay, some good points you added to the brother's comments there. If I can bring you into the discussion, what do you think consists of humanity?
Firstly, I just want to say that everything we are in is a blessing from Allah. So Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَمَنْ بِكُم مِّن نِعْمَةٍ فَمِنَ اللَّهِ. Any blessing you have is from Allah.
God,
so it's not from you. You're not the maker. So why on earth do you have to brag or to show that you are superior? And at the same time, as for clothing, because it's our topic today, you have to be handsome, good looking. But being good looking and being handsome doesn't mean that you brag or you feel superior, or you feel too full of yourself. So modesty is, it's faith itself, because if we just think about the afterlife and after people die, you're not going to take anything with you. So feeling that you have lots of things that people don't have, or you just walk on the street, look at people that they are inferior and you are the superior, it's something that shows that this person doesn't believe in the afterlife. And if you don't believe in the afterlife, it means that your faith lacks something important.
There's a very good point you mentioned there that while looking good is very important, we shouldn't show off, and we shouldn't brag by the clothes we wear and by the outfits we adorn. So I want to bring the same question to you, brother. What do you think is the importance of modesty in Islam? What does that mean to you when I say that?
So, first of all, if we say modesty, we mean a style of clothes that is men at that particular time. So modesty is an important aspect of religion. So the Islamic clothes will be wear full and constant, to be look very neat, gentle for both men and women. So because your appearance is something which will tell to the people who you are. So if you didn't dress well as a Muslim, no one can see you and guess that you are a Muslim. So dressing like a Muslim will be, first of all, to go to the Quran and Sunnah to see which part of your body you're supposed to cover first.
Okay.
So Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam instructed believing women to cover their chest and their private part. Afterward, he instructed them to cover all their bodies except for their face and their hand. Also, Quran tells us that women should draw their the things that they cover their head over to their chest. And even in the real life, that is in the general standard modesty, woman should cover her whole body. But it is in the men, you can close even only your navel to your knee. This is the only part expected to be closed. But despite all these things, there is a saying that says, "Don't judge a book by its cover." That is هناك مقالة التي تقول يعني الإنسان بآدابه لا بزيه وثيابه. يعني so I used to go back to Arabic grammar. So I think this is the only thing that you will look very humble to appear that is good, but this is nothing that can tell us what you concern inside you.
Yeah.
But to dress well as a Muslim, and of course it is our topic of discussion, so we have to talk about this kind of clothes that you can wear and appear as a Muslim, so that to protect your religion against each and everybody that used to detect or pest you.
Okay. Brother Ala, if I can ask you, what are some of the rules and principles when it comes to dressing appropriately in Islam?
Basically, to know what the Prophet said and mentioned about the clothing of what the parts that should the man.
Well, for example, we know that the aura of the man is from his navel down to his knees, correct? Yeah. But I mean, that's not how you should dress outside. The Prophet ﷺ has told us, the more clothes we wear, the better. So, if you can share some of those thoughts.
Yeah, to dress properly, you have to look back and read about how the Prophet ﷺ and his companions used to wear or to dress. You see them wearing the right clothes and the clothes that is not going down the under
not
your
dragging.
Yeah, because this is a kind of it's against modesty. Yeah. It's like bragging. It's like feeling full of yourself and feeling like you are the best man ever walking on earth.
It's very prideful.
Yeah, so you feel like you're proud of yourself by doing that. So the Prophet ﷺ ordered us to just, to cut short our clothes, not to go down our feet. Also, there's like a hadith about the Prophet ﷺ. He used to ask us, when we go to pray, we have to cover our shoulder. Because you are standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so you have to look
presentable.
Imagine that you are going to stand in front of like a king or something. So you're going to prepare yourself for that. So
forget a king. Imagine us coming here on the show. Everybody's dressed nicely, covered up. Nobody's coming in a t-shirt, and this is just to the show.
And this is like you just want to look, well in front of people. So what about the prayer?
Imagine when you're standing in front of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, and this is your opportunity to ask Him for, everything you've been waiting to ask Him from one prayer to another prayer, and you come dressed in shorts or something inappropriate.
So whatever you feel like, look, man. When you just feel something inside your heart that you think that this clothes is not appropriate, So it's not.
It's not, yeah.
So just think about it like, first of all, if it is according to what the Prophet ﷺ said, so it's okay. And if you feel something inside your heart relating to that, so you have to stop doing that.
Okay, I want to get your guys' thoughts on this, but before that, we're going to watch a short video clip, and then we'll continue our conversation. Stay tuned.
How perfect you are, Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Islam does not reject people wearing beautiful clothes. It's a misconception. The Prophet ﷺ addressed the companions once and said, "By Allah, he who has an atom weight or an ant weight of arrogance in his heart would not be admitted to Jannah, would not be admitted to paradise." And one of the companions, may Allah be pleased with them, stood up and said, "O Prophet of Allah, I like to have a beautiful thobe, beautiful dress, and I'd love my shoes to be beautiful as well. So is this part of arrogance?" And the Prophet said, "No, Allah is beautiful and Allah Azza wa Jal loves beauty." So the Prophet approved, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the fact that people wear beautiful clothes. There's nothing wrong in that in Islam. Yet the internal beauty is far superior. However, why do we see people following fashion blindly nowadays? There are a number of reasons. Among them is peer pressure. When I am with my friends and each and every one of them is boasting of his watch, his car, the way he's dressed, and they look down at me, I feel that I have to excel, whether in bad or in good. I have to do something so that I could be like them. So this is peer pressure. Not only that, so many times you find people blindly following fashion because they love celebrities. So if I love an actor or an actress, if I love a pop star, if I love a footballer, I would like to wear the things he wears. And that is why they pay millions of dollars to get the royalties, to have an athlete wear a certain brand, because they know the impact on the viewers and on the fans of that athlete. So they're willing to pay millions of dollars just for him to wear their logo.
Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah, I'm calling your name.
Welcome back. I hope you guys enjoyed that short video clip. Now, before that video clip, our brother here was going to make a comment on the subject. So go ahead, brother.
Yes, as for the appearance, because clothing, a part of clothing is your hairstyle. In general, I just want to say that imagine that you are walking with the street in a country, and this country is not a Muslim country, and you just you call for Islam. So the first thing, people will look at you and to consider your appearance. Do you look like an Islamic guy? For example, you are wearing something very strange. Even this thing is not acceptable in our culture and our religion. I mean, the other people. So you've got to be a part. You've got to be an address. You've got to be a clear evidence of Islam. People respect you because Islam is the religion of respect. And a part of clothing is your hairstyle. Nowadays, we see people that they have very strange hairstyles. Of course, this is not Islam. Some strange, some weird hairstyles. So yes, you have to take care of your hairstyle too, because this is very important. A lot of people, your clothes are very good, okay, but how about your hairstyle? Why do you make your hair in a very strange way? And something else, as for clothing too, tight clothes or these clothes that are very tight, they don't show that you are a very good Muslim. So it's a responsibility on you that you call for your religion wherever you are. So your clothing, okay, you may be a good Muslim, but firstly you start with your appearance. As my brother said, the first impression lasts. So start with your appearance, and then you move to what's inside.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
I need to
yeah,
add.
sure.
I need to add something to my brother's Ahmed words. In this respect, also, I usually see some girls who they wear very tight clothes and with scarves, and from the scarves, it seems that they are Muslims. When foreigners or tourists come to Egypt, they said that to me several times before. They asked the same question: why is that girl having a scarf, and at the same time she's wearing tight clothes? While you claim that Muslim women must wear veil or cover the whole body or that. So I told him that I told those people that this is a matter of faith, or a matter of how they apply the Islamic rules or teachings. So from here I record my objection that this must not happen. If those girls or those women, they insist of wearing that way, so I'm sorry, they should remove the scarves, because there's no need for the scarves at that time. So
well, I actually don't completely agree with that. I think that okay, we understand the hijab in Islam is obviously modest clothing, loose clothing all the way through, with the headscarf, obviously. But at the same time, if somebody's wearing tight clothing with the headscarf, I don't think it doesn't count as hijab at all. It's not a full hijab, but it's still partially hijab. It's still better than no hijab and tight clothing. So I mean, to criticize them and say that it's not hijab at all, it's nowhere near hijab. I think it's a partial hijab. What do you think?
And the problem is, I can say that the severe problem is some people who do not know the Islam very well. They judge the whole religion just by appearance, or just by judging those people, or those women, or those young people, or something.
All right, and
so
I'd like to say something about that. It depends on the meaning of the word hijab. Hijab means concealing. That if these clothes, if they conceal your body, all right, so it's okay, it's a hijab. But if the Islamic garb is that this garb that doesn't show or that doesn't describe your body. So if these conditions, if this garb or these garments, if they do apply, or they do realize these conditions that they don't describe, they don't show your body, so this is a hijab. So it's concealing. If concealing happens, this doesn't oppose the Islamic teachings or the Islamic description.
I need to add something.
Sure, brother, go ahead.
First of all, the clothes must be loose in Islam to be enough, loose enough. That is tight clothes, like skin tight, hugging clothes, all are banned in Islam. Because even if you conceal the whole of your body, wearing trousers which is tight, I think you didn't conceal anything. You imagine that you wear a trouser, but it is tightened. So you are just looking like you didn't wear anything. So she wear a trouser which is tightened, and she just close her head with something which is, I think the most very important place to be covered is her chest and her private part. But she's just went there and close her only head, and just leave the whole body just tightened, which is almost empty. So also the clothes in Islam must be very thick. That is, the light can penetrate it and cast the image of that girl outside. even the color of her skin is not allowed to be seen, unless to go down beneath something which is banned in Islam. So Islam also tells us that to be proud of who you are, that is to dress well as a Muslim. Whoever saw you, he can't even ask anybody. He knows that this person is a Muslim, without asking why he wear this thing and why he didn't wear this thing. You have to be wear something which is tell that you are a Muslim without asking.
Yes.
I believe that...
Sure, hold on. Before I add you to the conversation, we're going to take a short break and then I'll let you, inshallah, continue.
Right.
So stay tuned, and after the short break, Brother Ala will share his thoughts on the question.
Perfect my Allah is, and I praise Him. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, Subhanallah. How perfect you are, Allah, Subhanahu wa ta'ala.
O Allah, to you belongs all praise. You are the light of the heavens and the earth, and all that is within them. إن الذين كذبوا بآياتنا واستكبروا عنها لا تفتح لهم أبواب السماء ولا يدخلون الجنة حتى يلج الجمل في سم الخياط.
Sister Amina is asking, is it true that you can see Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam in the dream? The answer is yes. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, in an authentic hadith, he said, "Man ra'ani fil manam faqad ra'ani, fa inna ash-shaytana la yatamathalu bi."
After the soul departs the body, it makes its journey to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If it was righteous soul, it will be given permission to enter into the heavens. But if the soul was wicked, no. إنه من يشرك بالله فقد حرم الله عليه الجنة. Whosoever associates someone in worship with Allah, even if it is me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make Jannah haram and lawful for that person.
TV commercials motivate viewers into immediate action and to sway consumer loyalty from one brand or service to the other. That's why we're here for you, to help you sell your products and services by using creative ideas that bring life into your own TV commercial. Advertise your business and branded products and services on Huda TV. We will offer you fast-paced and energetic 30-second affordable TV spots. Advertise on Huda TV. Acquire fresh customers and stay within your budget. For more info or to receive a quote, please send your inquiries to advert@Huda TV. Huda TV.
Allah, Subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah, I'm calling.
Welcome back to Let's Talk. Now, before that small commercial break, Brother Ala was going to share his thoughts. So go ahead, Brother Ala.
Actually, summarizing what our brothers said, our brother here talked about, what is the relationship between wearing like these tight clothes and wearing a hijab or a headscarf.
Yeah.
And they call it hijab. And hijab, the word the hijab in Islam is different. The hijab is like covering the whole body with thick clothes and not transparent clothes. Thick and loose ones. All right? Not, if you ask them to conceal their body, so they're going to telling you that I'm wearing jeans and it's okay and it's thick, but it shapes the body of the woman. So this is not allowed. So you are asked to wear loose clothes and also thick clothes too, not to show any of your body, because showing any of your body, this is haram. This is not allowed in Islam. So asking a woman to remove the headscarf, I might disagree with you, brother, because I feel like she is somehow committed to Islam by wearing such thing. It's irrelevant to see a woman, a Muslim
I
woman
agree.
like
I
this.
feel it might not be a complete hijab, but it is still a partial hijab.
Yeah, I might agree with that. But she is supposed to be taught about her religion. She needs to know about her religion. So this is our job, guys, to call for our religion, to ask them to wear the right hijab with wisdom and with not to ask her to remove the headscarf, because by removing the headscarf, so she has nothing to do with Islam. And we see this, by the way, the woman herself feels like, why I'm wearing hijab? She's asking herself.
Yeah.
So you find now, if you go in the streets now, you'll find people who are Muslim people, they are not wearing hijab, they are not, even the clothes are,
Tight.
they are not just tight, they are not wearing clothes. As the Prophet ﷺ said, كَاسِيَاتٍ عَارِيَاتٍ. So they think that they're wearing something, but actually they're not. So these women, it's our duty, guys, to call for them and to ask them to go back to our religion, and we need to enlighten these people and to tell them that you are like a pearl. You are something dear to us. We're asking you to cover your body in order not to be, eaten from the eyes of everybody.
But I have a question for you. 2 days ago, I was talking with a Pakistani girl. I was chatting on Facebook. We are acquaintances in a project. I was asking her a question about why she's not veiled. So I asked her, why don't you wear a veil? And she just told me that in Pakistan, women are of two kinds: people who wear the veil because they are convinced that it's good, and some other women they don't like it. They're not convinced. So if I'm in a discussion like that about hijab, and I just need to give them the proof that hijab is the right thing, and if you're not wearing hijab, you're not on the straight path. How can I give them the strong proof for that?
The strong proof is in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يُدْنِينَ عَلَيْهِنَّ مِنْ جَلَابِيبِهِنَّ. So al-idna, so just to draw the clothes over the face.
But they tell me lots of interpretations for this Quranic.
Well, I believe that first of all you need to explain it through the Quran and through the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, and then after that she's going to have to ponder upon it. She's going to have to think about it until she convinces herself, because you can't force somebody to do anything. If you try to force her, you might push her away from Islam. If you tell her this is the way, and there's no other way, she won't think for herself. The only thing she will think about is how to refute you, instead of trying to think about what you told her and trying to take it in. So if you tell her in a gentle way from the Quran, then from the Sunnah, and leave her to think about it, and then she might decide for herself, yes, maybe I'm convinced by these proofs, because you can't impose a religion on anybody.
Yeah, you're supposed just to call for it with husna or with wisdom. أُدْعُ إِلَى سَبِيلِ رَبِّكَ بِالْحِكْمَةِ وَالْمَوْعِظَةِ الْحَسَنَةِ. So you are supposed to just to tell her with nice words, and you try to, actually, we as Muslims, if we have like a text from the Quran or from Sunnah, so we are compelled to agree with. This is our religion, because this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is His Prophet, that He is ordered us to do that. So without any thinking, if we have really this strong faith, we never think about a way to go out of this. So we're supposed to, to follow the instructions of the Prophet ﷺ, and first of all the instructions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But nowadays people think, try to convince me. I said the Prophet ﷺ said so, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said so. So you're not convinced by your religion. I'm not, guys, think about it. This is your religion, and you accepted Islam, and you are Muslim now. If I told you, you're going to work with me in a company.
Sure.
And these are the rules of the company. Take it or leave it. That's it. So you decided to work with me. So you come to me and you say, like, I don't accept, or I don't agree with these rules, or you're going to just, follow the rules. You're going to follow the rules.
But so you need to take into consideration that not everybody has the same level of iman. One person might be weaker in his iman. One person might not be sure if they really want to work in your company or not.
Yeah.
And what you don't want to do is then further push him away from not working in your company. You want to bring him closer to working in company. So this is where wisdom comes into place, and you need to preach to them with kind words and wisdom.
But if the rules of your company are principles to you, I think you're not gonna, quit any of them because you want this man to work with you or this woman to work with you in the company. So I'm talking. I would like to refer to something. So, if these are the rules of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala on earth that we are supposed to follow, so Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is not going to change the rules or the principles because we don't accept or we're not convinced. This is your religion. Take it as whole. اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم. So it's over, guys. This is your religion. Try to stick to your religion if you need najah, if you need, Jannah. Jannah is something precious, is something valuable, is something that is, needs more efforts and needs more sacrifice. You have to exert lots of things in order to reach Jannah. The dunya, the Prophet ﷺ said about the dunya is like the prison of Muslim. So the dunya is the prison of Muslim. So you are in prison. This means that you have to know that you are going to face hardships. You're going to face troubles. You're going to face lots of things if you are committed to your religion. So you have to bear that at the time being, to be patient at the time being, in order to, to live the entire life in Jannah, inshallah. But if you enjoy your life with not committing to the Islamic instructions nowadays, you will not enjoy it in the afterlife. So you are supposed to stick to religion. These sisters that they tell you, like, convince me, you can tell them simply, if we have the Queen of England, for example, is it shown to everybody? You can see the Queen every day? No, because she is the Queen. So the Queen is covered in her palace, because it's something precious to people, all right? So when the Queen comes up, all people come around, right? So you are the Queen of us. We consider you as a Queen. So try to protect yourself.
Now the point, I came to her from an important point. I told her, if we have two women on the street, one woman is rightly veiled, and the other woman, she's wearing very, very, bad clothes.
Very light clothes.
And yes, and we have a guy, and this guy he has a very weak iman, and he's gonna harassment. So who is more liable to being harassed, the woman with veil or the other woman who is wearing bad clothes? But her answer was really, philosophical. She said, it's not her fault. It's the guys. So the guys, he is yes,
both.
So why do you cast fault on the victim and not the guilty? And she said yes. As a lot of people, some women, their clothes are very bad, but it doesn't mean that some people they wear hijab, and their clothes are very, very they are very bad. And some other women, they don't wear veil, and it's okay. Their clothes are moderate, so it's.
So I need to add something.
Moderation.
Hence, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam informed us since that there, in a later generation, there is a people that will come, who are dressed but they are always yet naked. So since we know that this time will come, so I think we have to prepare how to protect ourselves and how to escape from this kind of a dilemma. As nowadays Muslims used to teach us, you have to wear a clothes which is loose. That is to protect about that kind of a hadith that Prophet Muhammad already told us. So I think by this, no any Muslim that need you to convince him about anything. Hence he know about this kind of hadith that had been already told by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So you have to construct a path that you can work through so that you can escape from that penalty. As you have been already informed, you have been already alarmed about it. So you by yourself, you have to find the way to go and to swear against that kind of things. So Islam also tells us to be proud of who you are. That is, you are not expected to imitate the kind of clothes that some people of different kind of religion used to wear because they look more passionate than yours. That is something which is only you are the one who created this kind of passion in your heart. But the only kind of clothes which is allowed in Islam and ordered us to wear it, it is the only kind of clothes which is very, very good to wear. Even if you think with your knowledge, not only the kind of passion, you can get that this kind of clothes is the only kind of clothes that you can wear and to appear like a Muslim without any wearing or a tight cloth or hugging clothes like that, which will attract the attention of people toward you and which will lead to the commission of adultery and whatever. So I think you are not expected to be convinced. Hence, you know that hadith.
Okay, a couple of things I wanted to wrap up before we move on to the next question was that, first of all, when it comes to the subject of women, obviously, we should remember to be easy on our sisters. Sometimes it's very hard. Even though we understand that the hijab is fard, these certain clothings are fard, they don't have the same sort of pressure that we do, especially in the West and in non-Muslim countries. They don't face the same we don't face the same pressure as women do. So it's very important for us to note that, because when I'm back in the US, not everybody recognizes that I am a Muslim. But a sister that's wearing a hijab, everywhere she goes, everybody can recognize that she is a Muslim. And this is something that you might not understand, but it's very different when you come from a Muslim minority country. So that's the first thing. Second of all, we need to remember as men that the Prophet ﷺ has told us to lower our gazes also. So that should come into consideration, and we shouldn't tend to blame the victims. As you were saying there. So with that being wrapped up, I just want to move on to the next question, which is, do you think that there is a difference between Islamic clothing and cultural clothing? Go ahead.
Yes, I think there's a big difference. Sometimes there's a big difference because the Islamic clothing has conditions that must be met.
Before you actually answer that, I just wanted to share my thoughts on what I think is the Islamic clothing. I don't think there's any specific attire that's in Islamic clothing. By the way, these are my thoughts on it. I don't think there's any specific attire that's the Islamic clothing, meaning that this is the piece of cloth that needs to be worn as in Islamic clothing. What I think is in Islamic clothing is something that covers your aura, covers majority of your body, and has a humble look to it. When somebody looks at you, they can see this is a gentleman. This is somebody who looks, well, clean, nice, presentable, and at the same time, it doesn't look like somebody who's bragging or showing off. That's my thoughts on it. You want to add something?
I would like to add to that.
Sure.
That the Prophet ﷺ, I totally agree with that. But you are supposed not to look as the West people. I mean, not to look like them, not to wear the clothes that they are wearing. So because this is also the clothes of Muslims are part of their identity. So if you just change the clothes of Muslims or the clothes that you are supposed to wear, so you are away part from your identity, right? Actually, nowadays, you are compelled to wear certain clothes because people disagree with other clothes that you're wearing, or sticking back to the Muslim clothes. Is you be kind of like you are bizarre or weird. People will look at you like, what are you wearing? All right?
Well,
but
I mean,
we have to do our best. Do our best to wear like what the Prophet ﷺ used to wear.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yes.
I was supposed to let Sharif comment, but go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. Yes, as for committing to Islam through clothes, yes, I totally agree with what you said. And I'd like to share with the story of Sheikh Yusuf Estes when he before he converted to Islam. He had this stereotype about Muslims that they are terrorists wearing galabias with a bomb on one of your sides and a sword on the other side.
Convinced that Muslims were
So
terrorists.
the breaking the ice was seeing a guy okay, he is too little westernized. He's just wearing suit and he's very handsome. So this is, it was the first impression that, oh, come on. So it's Muslim guys, they are just like us. They're not wearing, in a bizarre way. So wearing these clothes, especially if you are a caller to Islam in another country, so it's it's very good, because it's one way of breaking the ice with these people. So I think people who are wearing suits and they live outside and they just call for Islam, all right, I think it's better than wearing or galabiyas or. Well, it's just my point of view.
Yeah. I think I agree. I think that the galabiya itself is more of a cultural clothing or a cultural attire than an Islamic. Yes, it does enter in Islamic clothing because it fits the rules and regulations of an Islamic attire, which is it's loose. It covers your aura. It doesn't show that you are prideful unless you let it drag below your ankles. So it covers the rules and regulations placed by the Prophet ﷺ for an Islamic attire. So it does fit that it is an Islamic attire, but at the same time it's not the only thing specified to be an Islamic attire. You wanted to add something?
Yes, as I said earlier, the Islamic clothing is not all the time like the same with the traditional clothing or the cultural clothing of other cultures or something. For example, sometimes I go to pray in a certain mosque, and when I go there, I recognize women with half sleeves T-shirts, and they have very tall scarves, and when they start to pray, I wonder if their prayers are accepted or not, because they are women, and at the same time half of their arms are naked. So this is not, as I know from the teachings of Islam, from Quran and Sunnah, that prayer are not accepted unless the whole aura is covered. So I wonder if this is so.
As
Sheikh Allah can answer us.
Tradition differ from with this place to another place. So that is what brought the difference between the cultural clothes or tradition clothes and that of Islam. Hence we know that Islam didn't cite a kind of clothes that he said this is only a kind of clothes that a Muslim should wear. So we there, I can take an example, like we Nigerians there, we have many different kind of clothes which are cultural and some are traditions. So we have a kind of clothes we are calling it babariga. So babariga, that is just something that you can put a shirt inside, and that you can also add one other on that kind of t-shirt that you wear. So it is just reflects the thing that those Arab people used to wear. That is like al-kebba. After you wear jalabiya, so you wear al-kebba. But we there, after we wear that shirt, we wear that babariga, and we have also half jumper, which is just like t-shirt, but it is very loose. Those are like abayas that women used to wear. So our women, even if they wear that tight clothes, the Islam, hence we know that they can't abide wearing that tight clothes, especially young girl. They can't abide wearing that tight clothes. So our scholars there inform them, if they wear this kind of tight clothes, they must wear abaya on that kind of clothes. So even if they are sitting there in their house, they can even remove the abaya. But if she can come outside, she must wear that abaya.
Okay.
So by this we are abiding that kind of problem.
All right. I'd really like to continue this discussion, but unfortunately we've run out of time, so I'm going to have to end the conversation here. I want to thank you, brothers, for joining me here today and giving me this wonderful discussion. I want to thank you once again on this side. And I want to thank you, dear viewers, for tuning into another episode of Let's Talk. I hope you guys enjoyed and benefited from tonight's program. Don't forget to check out our Facebook page, and until next time, may God bless you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Perfect my Allah is, and I praise Him. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi. Subhanallah, how perfect you are, Allah. Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi. Subhanallahi how perfect you are, Allah. Subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah, Subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah, Allah. I'm calling your name, Allah. I call you, I need you, Allahu Akbar, Allah. Your mercy is great.